later show than usual because of the president's schedule. So here's what's on tap for today. There's supposed to be an executive order signing. That was supposed to start at 2 o'clock, which is why I pushed it to 3 o'clock, because I had a feeling he'd be late. So that hasn't happened. And then at 4 o'clock, which I'm pretty sure he's going to be on time because he's got over 100 guests, probably has their families as well, and those 100 guests are there to celebrate a Purple Heart ceremony. So we should have some video of 2 different separate events from President Trump within the next hour or so, but we shall see. We know we're getting the Purple Heart ceremony, but we may also get the executive order. So this executive order that President Trump is signing today is absolutely huge. If you haven't heard, he and his family love crypto, and he is going to make America the crypto capital of the world. Check this out.
The reason we got into crypto, and we're all in on crypto, and we're doing American Bitcoin, and we have World Liberty Finance and USD1, was because there was a time, and probably I'd been on this show, where I could call any single banker in New York City. They'd pick up the phone. I'd be able to get a loan for whatever real estate project I was doing across the street. Then we got into politics, and all of a sudden, they wouldn't take your call. You couldn't get financing. We were debanked. And what I realized, and my brother realized, because we were the recipients of every subpoena imaginable, was that, you know what, we were actually just the top of this sort of pyramid scheme that we didn't realize we were a part of, that the financial system was totally undemocratized. Because we had a certain balance sheet and whatever, we could kind of do whatever we wanted. The regular guy was messed up. Now we were all of a sudden in the shoes of the regular guy that wouldn't be able to take advantage of the markets. And we said, what's the solution for that? The answer is crypto. These decentralized platforms where you're not beholden to this, where you create efficiencies. As a guy that did real estate, why am I paying points in and out for title insurance that could be done on the blockchain? So we got into crypto not because it was like, hey, this is the next cool thing. We got into it out of necessity. We got into it because we understood just how quickly we could be turned off, even as an incredible developer from New York City. I mean, I don't think anyone would argue that we didn't change the skylight of New York City, but that disappeared in an instant. I mean, we're getting sued by the New York State AG, $500 million fees for paying back loans on time with interest. These aren't, fair markets. There's nothing egalitarian about any of that. So we actually, as innovators, as people who understand these things, we went all in on a concept that makes total sense because we'd actually been the recipient of how quickly that can be shut off. And so it actually makes total sense. The Trump organization isn't doing anything with foreign countries. The first time around in the administration, we actually stopped doing all foreign deals. And unlike the Bidens, we were actually doing international business before we got into politics.
Here's my question, though.
But let me finish. We stopped doing those things, and the market still said, oh, they're profiteering off of this, they're doing that. We got zero credit. We shut down hundreds of millions of dollars of business to voluntarily just say, just in case. So now what we're going to do, we're going to play by all of the rules. We're going to do what we're allowed to do. But we got zero credit for going so far above and beyond.
Market. Trump last night came out and talked about crypto assets being eligible for 401ks. I mean, that's a monster pool of capital. And what we're just seeing is through these treasury companies, through all kinds of different avenues, the aperture of being able to buy crypto being widened and widened and widened. More avenues bringing people into the tent. I think one of the things that I actually didn't even comprehend is these treasury companies have done so well. The public equity markets are so much bigger than what the crypto markets were. And so as we're really broadening our reach through public equities into our asset class, you're just seeing tons of money pour in. Market. Trump last night came out and talked about crypto assets being eligible for 401ks. I mean, that's a monster pool of capital. And what we're just seeing is through these treasury companies, through all kinds of different avenues, the aperture of being able to buy crypto being widened and widened and widened. More avenues bringing people into the tent. I think one of the things that I actually didn't even comprehend is these treasury companies have done so well. The public equity markets are so much bigger than what the crypto markets were. And so as we're really broadening our reach through public equities into our asset class, you're just seeing tons of money pour in.
We're just seeing tons of money pour in. I'm going to show you just how much money. But first, let's back up. I put up a poll and I said, are you buying or at least learning about crypto? Disappointingly, 49% people say yes, 43% people say no, and 9% say they're not even going there. Don't even want to know. That's okay. I still love you. I'm just telling you the news. This is what President Trump is doing. You can decide for yourselves whether you want to partake. It's like a Chinese buffet. I love my buffets. But in any event, if you choose not to, that's okay. That's really okay. The rest of you, strap on. Because this rocket ship is beginning to take off. Trump wants your 401k to hold Bitcoin, buildings, and private deals. I like all three of those things. Trump is signing an executive order, which should have been signed by now. Wait a second, hold on. And as we speak, here he comes.
You know when he went down?
Whenever you want.
You know when he went down? No, before. When he endorsed Hillary Clinton, he lost his audience. People said, give me a break. He went down when he endorsed Hillary.
Okay, I thought that was live. It wasn't live. It was Memorex. They were just going back. So let's continue. Trump is signing an executive order to let people invest their retirement savings and stuff beyond just boring stocks and bonds. We're talking crypto, real estate, private equity, the high-risk, high-reward stuff usually off limits to regular workers. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Right now, 401ks hold around $12 trillion, and Wall Street wants in. It's a big win for crypto, and another sign that it isn't just a trend, it's becoming a part of the financial system of America, a big part of the financial system of America. As you listen to Don Jr. talk, as he said during those conversations, he was telling you, we found out firsthand, meaning the Trump family, how quick the banks can turn on you. And when the banks turn on you, you're done. They take your money, whatever you have in there, go away. We don't even care that your last name is Trump. And so they had to find a way. They scurried and went, wait a second, what do we do at this point? And I don't know who they spoke to, but whoever they spoke to said, let me show you about Bitcoin. And ever since then, President Trump, Eric, and Don Jr. have been all in on crypto. In fact, President Trump, as you knew, we covered it. He spoke at the crypto convention, and he said to the world, I'm going all in on crypto. I want to make the United States the capital of the world of crypto. Which probably, evidenced by this poll, takes some people aback. And they're like, I didn't know anything about this crypto stuff. It kind of got thrust on me. One of the things that you're finding out, even so much today, is that that term I used about flooding the zone, President Trump flooding the zone. And that's an athletic or football term or even basketball, you're putting too many people for the defense to cover in one area. If it's a football game, you're putting 3 or 4 receivers where there's only 1 or 2 defenders. President Trump must have a plan somewhere where he wakes up and says, okay, what are we doing today, guys? What are we dropping? Bam, bam, bam. And he's not giving the libnuts even time to catch their breath. He's not even giving them time to even review what he's doing. By the time they start reviewing, like right now, about crypto, then something else he's on to something. Evidenced by the fact of what I'm going to be talking to you about later, he talked about federalizing D.C. So they probably got all their troops together. Let's go ahead and tell everybody why federalizing D.C. is bad. And while they're getting all their assets together to dispute it, boom, he comes back today and goes, hey, we're going to do a crypto order. They can't keep up. So I understand if the media, with all of their resources and all of their money, can't keep up with President Trump. I understand if you can't. There's a reason why this stuff is coming out. And the reason why is he doesn't want you. He said it many times. They came after me because I'm standing in the way of you. And so he's letting you know, I'm not going to be president forever. Nope, not going to be here. But as a good steward, I'm going to show you how you can protect yourself in case these idiots somehow get back in control. By the time, or if, or when they get back in control, it will be too late. You need to understand that. This opportunity right now is fantastic. It's wide open. It's going to be monumental. I can't say enough about it, but it will close. Not in terms of it not being available, but who knows what kind of regulations they put on it if they were to take control. Let me show you something here. This was on CNBC this morning. This was posted. Let me get to this. What number is it? This would be number 45. All right. This was dropped on CNBC this morning at 7:40 a.m. Trump order will allow alternative assets like cryptocurrencies and private equity in your 401k. And it's going to allow you to buy crypto, going to allow you to use your crypto to buy real estate, all kinds of different things. It says President Trump will sign an executive order today to allow alternative assets into your 401ks. The executive order will direct the U.S. Secretary of Labor to review fiduciary guidance on private market investments in 401k and other defined contribution plans. An executive order would mark a major victory for private asset managers who have pushed for greater adoption of alternative assets and defined contribution plans during Trump's second term in office. So in other words, what they're saying is some of you are going to be in crypto and you don't even know it. Yeah, now hopefully it's starting to sink in. It's like, wait a second. Did you catch what that said? It's allowing asset managers. Who are asset managers? You ready? You want to see that again in case you missed it? Executive order would mark a major victory for private asset managers who have pushed for greater adoption of the alternative assets. All right, so, what's an asset manager? Well, it's someone who controls or manages a fund. And this person who controls or manages a fund may indeed have your retirement locked into this fund. How many of you know? Right now, could you define whether or not your 401k, depending on where it's held and who's managing it, isn't already leveraged with crypto? So right about now, you should be going, oh, I need to find out about that. Yeah, you say you don't know about crypto? Well, you might want to find out because your money might get put there. Let that sink in. Your money may already be designated to go into some crypto fund, even if you're not well versed on it. But I would think if you want to be well versed on something, you better start learning what this is. Or just trust your private asset manager to do what needs to be done. Either way, depending on who's your money with. I don't know. It says President Donald Trump will sign an executive order on Thursday, which is today, to allow alternative assets such as private equity, cryptocurrencies, and real estate into 401ks. Yes, love that. The executive order will direct the Secretary of Labor to review fiduciary guidance, which I said earlier. The federal law sets minimum standards for most retirement plans. Trump has an executive order signing scheduled at noon, which got bumped and bumped and bumped, so I don't know where we are with it. The development was first reported by Bloomberg News. An executive order would mark a major victory for the alternative asset industry, which has pushed for greater adoption of private assets and defined contribution plans under Trump's second term in office. Thought it also brings with it new risk for investors. All right, so the doomsayers are going to tell you it brings on new risks. Everything has a risk. A stock could go down. everything associated with crypto, everything associated with your 401k, if you've been around for the last 5 years, yes, it has inherent risk. Even your dollar bills in your wallet can devalue. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be looking into it, because it's something you need to know. Bitcoin jumped Thursday in response to the news. Private equity stocks such as Apollo Group were also slightly higher in Thursday trading. Private market assets have traditionally been excluded from 401ks, even as they've been embraced by pension funds and university endowments. Oh, pension funds. Your money is now going to be in crypto. Now, that may shock some of you right now, but according to where, whoever's managing your money, wherever your 401k, especially if it's a pension fund, university endowments, because their high fees, lack of transparency, and longer lockup periods make them riskier investments. Yet, private market exposure in 401ks was considered permissible in 2020 when the Department of Labor under the first Trump administration issued an information letter saying it could be appropriate for defined contribution plans under certain conditions. The guidance was later affirmed by the Biden-directed agency. All right, so this has been going on and is culminating for 5 years. Now is a culmination. It had been put in place, people were using it, and now it's going to just go crazy. Crazy. Its presence has already grown. Asset managers and plan sponsors have created products for retirement vehicles in which Americans collectively hold, all right, you ready? Wait for it. $8.7 trillion in assets, according to data on 401ks at the end of the first quarter of 2025. There's already $8 trillion in these 401ks. I'm going to talk to you in a second about the market cap, basically, of crypto right now, but it's about to quadruple. Quadruple. So I want you to let me know, when's the last time you've been in an investment that is, halved or quadrupled? Some people buy stock and a stock split, and you're like, oh, this is great. This one's going to increase by 4. But some people ain't ready for it, but that's okay. In June, here's that evil company everybody talks about. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, said it's launching a 401 target date fund in the first half of 2026. Yeah, that's not too far away from here. That will include a 5% to 20% allocation to private investments. It may empower the country's second largest retirement provider, said it's joining asset managers such as Apollo to start allowing private assets in some of the accounts later this year. So it's not an if. It is no longer an if. It is definitely happening. Everybody who's shying away, again, that's your prerogative. Nobody's going to force you to do it. The rest of us, you guys you see what's happening. You understand how this is evolving very, very quickly. Here, listen to this. This might even help you with some additional information.
The White House is rumored to have President Trump sign an executive order today that would allow individuals to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in their 401k retirement accounts. This is a massive development for the crypto industry, and it's one that should have happened a very long time ago. Now, there's an estimated $43 trillion in all U.S. retirement accounts. That's a lot of money, and that includes about $9 trillion in defined contribution plans like 401ks. To put that in perspective, the entire crypto industry's market cap is less than $4 trillion. So this executive order will open up a significant pool of capital to flood into Bitcoin and crypto assets. Now, plenty of people, they're going to moan and complain about the White House doing this. Who cares? Go cry somewhere else. They're going to claim that Bitcoin's risky. They're going to screech about how inappropriate it is for individuals to be given the ability to allocate their retirement funds how they see fit. That's all nonsense. Literally, it is just noise. First of all, every American should be allowed to do whatever they want with their money. If you want to gamble, knock yourself out. I wouldn't recommend it. But why should the government tell you what to do with your money? And if you want to speculate on a new company, go for that too. And if you want to invest in Bitcoin, there should be no politician or regulator that gets in your way if that's what you want to do. Now, for the critics, your job is not to stop people from doing what they want with their money. Your task is to increase financial education in America so people make intelligent, rational decisions. If you don't
See that, to me, that's the objective here. The objective isn't for people to be naysayers. The objective is to tell people you might want to begin learning. The alternative is complete ignorance. I'm not saying put your money anywhere you're not comfortable, but you're never going to get comfortable if you don't even begin learning. It's not going away. This is a new frontier that President Trump is directing America to, that the rest of the world is getting on board. And I'm being delicate here. You don't have to do it. No one's going to tell you that you have to do it. But more than likely, your pension fund, your retirement is already going to be doing it. So wouldn't you want to know what's going on with your money, where it's being put? Because it's going to happen.
people gambling, go explain to them the high loss ratio. If you don't want them speculating on a penny stock, educate the person on the benefits of long-term compounding and high-quality assets. The days of treating American citizens like they are a bunch of idiots is over, baby. The rise of sophisticated, self-directed retail investors is upon us. Many of these individuals are outperforming the institutional investors. Are there people who will screw up and make bad decisions? Of course, but that's also how you learn. We must bring back personal responsibility. We don't need a maternalistic state micromanaging the individual investment portfolios of our people. In fact, if the critics really wanted to take up an important cause, I got a better idea for them. They should start questioning why so many American retirement accounts are directed to holding U.S. treasuries. These assets are essentially guaranteed to lose value over long periods of time.
Whoa, stop there. See, a lot of people don't realize that. They put your money into U.S. treasuries. They've given your retirement to the government. And you've all seen how the government spends money. I mean, do you trust that the government's going to provide you an ongoing return? And again, think long term. Think what happens when the Democrats take over. God forbid if they get back in office. God forbid they get back in office. But if they do, it will be too late for you to act. And so no one's saying push all in. No, don't put all your money in Bitcoin. But if you have 10, 15, 20% allocated to crypto, and then a certain amount to real estate and a certain amount of cash, certain amount to silver and gold. Move it around. Hedge your bets. Make sure you're understanding what your risk is and what your reward capacity will be.
Retirement account is reportedly optimized for the long term. So if we are willing to let people put their retirement account in the high-risk asset of treasuries, why can't they buy Bitcoin? For example, the iShares 20-plus year Treasury Bond ETF, the Treasury Bonds, has lost nearly 50% of its value in the last 5 years. Antiquated financial advisors are out here obliterating boomer portfolios with the outdated 60-40 portfolio allocation. Treasuries are down.
So I know he talks fast. He's talking a lot of finance stuff. The traditional 60-40 allocation, where they're putting your money. At this point, you have more options. You don't have to put it in a non-performing asset or a declining asset like he just showed you. So the biggest question at this point you need to ask yourself is, when you open your 401k, assuming you have one, do you see the balance, you see what the information is? More than likely, you're not self-managing it. And if so, where are they putting your money? That's what you start there. Start digging and saying, where is my money? And then find out where they're putting it. Because if they're putting it in T-bills and different things that they think are long-term stocks that are actually declining, then you may want to move managers if you can. That's the other thing.
Only, and Bitcoin is up only over the long run. So unleash the retirement accounts. Give people their freedom back. And let the investors have a fighting chance to save themselves from the financial disaster that awaits them if they can only allocate to the quote-unquote safe investments of the past. These investors need a fighting chance to invest because the US dollar is being destroyed. Creative Planning's Peter Mallouk writes that over the last 50 years, the purchasing power of the US consumer dollar has fallen by over 83%. At the same time, the S&P 500 has increased by over 150x, even after accounting for inflation. That's why you need to invest.
All right, so he said a lot there. I understand, and haven't looked at the comments yet, but I'm sure there's a lot of people going, "What the hell is going on here? I don't understand." Because you're seeing charts, you're seeing a whole lot of numbers, and when that happens, people shut down because I don't get it. All right, so let's take a step back, and well, let's let him finish.
It's not rocket science. People just need a shot at outpacing this insane currency debasement. So game on, ladies and gentlemen. The critics are up in arms, but they're on the wrong side of history. Bitcoin and crypto is here to stay, and now they're coming to a retirement account near you.
And that's not an if. That is not an if. It is coming to a retirement account near you. Maybe a lot closer than you think. So as you're seeing all this information, and once we get the executive signing and people will actually talk about it more, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot more time talking about it because I know people get glazed over when we discuss this. They get glazed over when we talk about anything having to do with money and fiduciary. But to me, I know the woman sitting out there, it's important. Hey, what are we doing? What's our strategy? And the thing is, what I just said right there, what are we doing? What's our strategy? Should have given you a hint. Oh, he manages himself. See, if you're not managing yourself, you don't know. You have no idea where it's going. You don't have any idea how much risk and how much stability you're into. Some people are in a different position than others. Some people would like to take a little bit more risk because they know that's higher reward. Other people were like, nope, I don't want any risk at all. I'm so good right now getting my X amount of dollars, and I don't care if it goes up. It's just someplace safe. And that's fine. That is a strategy that you have decided as long as you're managing it. See, that's where the breakdown comes. That's where I'm trying to talk to you. Everybody who has their own strategy, I saw a couple people here and says, I manage it myself. That's perfect because that's exactly what everyone's saying. Now you're in a position to play with the big boys, just as if you put it with some asset manager. There's so much information out there now that you can reasonably look at doing things yourself. Now, the other side of the coin, if it's with somebody else, if it's with another pension plan, and it doesn't fit with what you'd like to do, meaning, I'd like to take a little bit more risk to see what could happen, if I could do better. Maybe that's where you put 10, 15, 20% into Bitcoin. You're like, nope, I'd like the stability. Let me put it into real estate. Let me make sure I'm in some sort of real estate fund, or I'm doing mortgages or something. You do that. And you diversify according to what you want to do. Not leaving it up to some third party that you're just, you're not understanding where they're going. I think the biggest thing with this executive order that hasn't come out yet, haven't seen it, but what the biggest thing this is going to do is put it in your hands. You're no longer handcuffed. As soon as this thing gets signed, I'm looking to see if it has any notification yet. No, I haven't seen anything yet that says where this is signed yet. So it's probably signed, and we just haven't released that video. So let me take a few comments because I know a lot of people are probably, All right, why am I getting bad vibes regarding a commodity of crypto and Bitcoin? It sounds communistic to me, in my humble opinion. Trish, the only reason why you're getting that feeling is because you have the unknown. That's the only reason. I could spend an hour, and there's probably some people here in the chat who could spend an hour, but that comfortability that you lack right now, nobody's going to give you that but yourself. And the only way it's going to come is to begin to learn about it. I understand it's difficult, it's confusing, but, if I were going to start today and want to learn how to speak Mandarin, I would be completely lost. I would have no idea how to speak Mandarin. I wouldn't even know how to look at the letters. But that first day is where I begin. That's my first step. I'm like, all right, I'm here in class today. I want to learn how to speak Mandarin. Oh, I don't even know what you people are saying. Okay, I don't even understand you. But the fact that I'm sitting in class, or I'm reading, or I'm watching videos, one or the other, that tells me right there, and it should tell everybody, I'm willing to learn. So you should be willing to learn instead of just saying I get bad vibes. Would you recommend buying Bitcoin now? I am not a financial advisor. The recommendation that I would make is for you to get comfortable. See, nobody should do anything until they feel comfortable. Don't let someone tell you, hey, go do this. No. That's where you get in trouble, because unless you can answer that question yourself, don't listen to anybody else for it. You have to realize, okay, I'm ready to buy which crypto. See, that's another thing. People aren't understanding the word crypto is like an umbrella. There's Bitcoin, there's XRP, there's all kinds of meme coins. What are you looking to do? There's people in here who have bought all of that different kind of stuff and can tell you how to get there. But in terms of what you recommend, that is going to be solely something up to you. And the fact that you're looking for a recommendation means you're not comfortable yet. Randy says, I have crypto, $100 a month at a time. I am okay with this. Yep, good job. I'm broke but willing to learn. That's, let me go ahead and give that let me get a step up there. Yes, that is the key at this point. And the thing is, it doesn't cost you anything to learn. Maybe it costs you some time. But that's all you have to do is begin reading and listening to videos and watching what's going on. There's a tremendous amount of information out there. I live on little, but now have stock in 5 ounces of silver. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. I just made a massive investment in the like button. Pat F says, thank you. Pat F says XRP, XLM, HBAR, Ondo, and she just spoke Greek to me. I mean, I met with BLS Doom Crew when we had lunch in Connecticut, and he's posting about his XRP is just going crazy. And I don't even know what XRP is. I would be the wrong person to even ask about XRP. Educating yourself is so important. Indeed it is. I'm always willing to learn despite not having an income. Well, let me just tell you this. If some of you, including yours truly, if some of you had said, you know what, 5, 6, 7 years ago, what's this Bitcoin stuff? I'm going to learn this Bitcoin. I got a couple $100 to play with. I'm going to buy some Bitcoin with my $200 or $300. And I'm telling, go back to the future type thing. I'm going to dial back to, I don't know, 2020. You know what Bitcoin was in 2020, just 5 years ago? Go look that up and then go, oh my God. Yeah, if you would put a couple $100 into Bitcoin 5 years ago, where would you be right now? That's all. Just think of that. When you see what Bitcoin was in 2020 and said, yeah, how many multiples differences? Here, let me just show you. Give me an Bitcoin price, because I kick myself every time I see these numbers. All right. Here, let me see if I can't pull this up for you, because now this may give you some references to what I'm saying. Hold on, let me get it. This one here. All right, so in 2020, never mind before then, I'm just going to go back 5 years, right? So in 5 years ago, Bitcoin was 18,000. 18. Sounds like a lot. It sounds like a hell of a lot, right? Yeah. Well, Barry, that's still a lot of money. You don't have to, unlike other things, you don't have to buy the whole Bitcoin. But let's say you put $100 on Bitcoin in 2020, right? 100. And it was 18,000 back then. Now, when you look at the price of Bitcoin today, It's 116,000. 116,000. So basically, it's gone up like 9x, 10x. So if you had put $100 or $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2020, you'd be sitting on 9x that number right about now, even if it was only $300, $400, $500. Now, this is the crazy part. People are saying they expect Bitcoin to potentially hit 1 million. They say by 2030 it could 10x again. Excuse me. So, where do you want to be? Do you want to be looking back again in, 2030 and go, I could have got in Bitcoin at 116K and now it's 800,000. I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not telling you it is, but most of the prognosticators out there are indeed saying it could go to 1 million. Yeah, wow, the more you know. Exactly. I agree with Denise, and I'm on a learning journey, educating myself. I set up an XRP digital wallet, and to learn more about this, like I can use, just learn. The investment right now is invest in yourself. That's the investment right now. Is like, you know what? I'm not comfortable with this Bitcoin stuff. I don't want to get nothing to do with it. No. Okay, that's fine. Enjoy. Have that attitude because you're not comfortable. But then at the second part, put a comma, go, but you know what? Maybe as uncomfortable as I am, as much as I think this thing is crazy, I've got a couple hours a week to just begin looking at it, just to see if this makes sense. And then, who knows, maybe a month from now, you're like, hey, you know what? I feel a little bit more comfortable. I want to take a shot at this. I think this might work for me. Let me put in 100, 200. Oh, you get comfortable, like, well, that worked. So let me add another 100 in October. And just start with the baby steps, just a little bit at a time. And then, as you feel comfortable. Oh, wow, Mr. Pugsman said, where was that? Mr. Pugsman. Mr. Pug's mom, I made my first purchase of XRP yesterday. Awesome. Everybody should applaud people. That's just that you're taking the step. And I wouldn't even be advocating the way I am, except for one thing. And I was wrong for not buying it earlier. Hey, Barry, why did you buy it? Well, I'm into real estate and I wasn't interested in going in this way. I used to tell people, until I can go in a store and buy something, I ain't buying it with Bitcoin. But now it's becoming transactional. Like, oh, hey, so this stuff is serious, yeah. But the one reason why I jumped on the crypto train was because the guy I voted for said, we're going to make this work. I'm like, okay, that's it. That's the comfortability. He's going to make sure it's done right. He's going to make sure, we know what we're doing. But the whole 9 yards, that's my solidifier. That's what told me, hey, babe, it's time to start doing some stuff with crypto. So if you believe him, or believe in him, and you believe that he's not going to steer you the wrong way, maybe now might be a time to begin at least learning. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I'm looking to see if it comes out yet that he's going to be talking about it, but I haven't seen anything that tells me that they have a tape ready or anything. So we shall see what happens with that. But yeah, just felt at this point needed to bring it up because of what was happening today, and it's a big day. The executive order, I'm sure they'll post it sooner or later, but we shall see. Now let's get into some more news. Before I do that, let me tell you about today's sponsor. I was remiss because I didn't talk about this sponsor, and boom, here they are. Okay, did I do that wrong? Okay. My phone is ringing at the same time here. All right, so today's sponsor is Vitality from Brightcore. So if you'd like to get involved here and buy some of this Brightcore Vitality, understand what it's all about. I had the cardiologist on like 2 weeks ago to explain a lot of what was going on. So you as a human, you understand that cancer and diabetes and all of these things kill far less than the #1 killer in the United States, which is heart disease. Heart disease causes 1 in every 4 deaths in the United States. Every 36 seconds, someone dies from a heart attack. Every 36 seconds. So what can we do about it? Vitality from Brightcore contains 7 powerful, clinically proven, and patented ingredients that work synergistically to naturally lower your blood pressure. Balance cholesterol and blood sugar. Improve circulation and strengthen your overall cardiovascular health. We put miles on our heart just like our cars. And every capsule of Vitality is like turning back the odometer on your system. Anyone with high blood pressure or high cholesterol, anyone who wants to balance their blood sugar, or anyone with a family history of heart disease should be and could benefit from taking Vitality every single day. Vitality is a non-GMO, all-natural, dairy-free, gluten-free, and 100% made in the USA by a company, Brightcore, that truly believes in wellness and integrity. Right now, you can get 25% off with the code Barry at mybrightcore.com/iHeartBarry. But for an even better deal, which I advise you, is to call Brightcore at 888-418-6738 for up to 50% off, free shipping, and you'd also get a free bottle of vitamin D3 with your order. Trust me, guys, you want to call these people. They really know their stuff about health, and many people here in the Fanfare family have gotten Vitality and kimchi, and this product might just be for you. Again, the number is 888-418-6738. And although we're talking about crypto and Bitcoin, I just, full disclosure, am buying a lot of silver. A lot. It's got a lot of legs.
It's genius. It's pure genius. America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it.
Why do so many financial experts call silver the most undervalued asset today? Because silver is essential to the future. From solar tech and electric vehicles to the explosive growth of artificial intelligence. Demand is rising fast, and yet silver is still trading at a bargain. With billions pouring into AI, silver prices have only one place to go, and that's up. In fact, silver may be the most overlooked asset class in financial planning. The opportunity for silver is well documented. The market for silver could double or even triple by 2026. You see, I believe in hard assets like this bar of silver. You can hold it in your hand, you can put it in your IRA, you can put it in your home safe, and relative to gold, it's very affordable. That's why I urge you to call my friends at Lear Capital and get their free report, The AI Revolution, and see why silver prices could be set to soar. Call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. But don't wait. We all know. We've seen it. The government can print lots and lots of dollars, but they can't print silver. All right, so dovetailing off of what we talked about earlier in terms of this being financial as we're waiting for President Trump to step out, I got a little bit of a problem. I have a little bit of problem with what seems to be the new trend on social media. And that new trend on social media is for younger people to make TikToks and videos complaining about the loans that they took out and complaining about the interest rates of the loans that they took out. And I'm here to tell you, it's all BS. I wish I could just say the word that Trump always says, but it's complete malarkey. Oh my God, that sounds like Biden. I'll stick with BS. There is no such thing as predatory lending. Let's just stop right there. That's another word made up by the libnuts. Predatory, if you're walking through someplace and a lion's coming after you, the lion's coming after you and you just are there. You had nothing to do with it and the lion wants to eat you. That's a prey. You're a falcon or you're an eagle or an osprey and you see a little bunny rabbit. Oh, it takes you and eats you. That's a prey. A loan is a document that you willingly sign your name to. And everything about that loan is covered in the documentation. Here's my repayment terms. Here's what your monthly payment is. Here's what your interest rate is. And then it's incumbent upon you to go look up an amortization table, which is the easiest thing to find online. So when people say, hey, I got a loan and they took advantage of me, no, you agreed to a deal. You said, hey, listen, if you could pay for my sorry ass college, I will go ahead and borrow this money. And somebody said, okay, I'll give you X amount of dollars so you can go to sorry ass college, but when you get done, you're going to have to pay me. There's no usury. I'm sick of hearing people say that because at that point, whatever deal you make and you sign your name to it, that's on you. And if you're saying you were too stupid, then it's on your parents. There's no way out of it. You're talking to somebody who has signed his name to tens of millions of dollars of loans. Every single loan that I ever got, every single mortgage had a promissory note to it. And that promissory note said, you're going to pay us this much every single month, and here's the interest rate we're going to charge you. There were no hidden clauses. Nothing in there was hidden. I would read and show it to Rob and say, here's the offer. Here's what they're offering us right now. We're going to buy this property. Okay. Does it make sense to take out this loan? Okay, let's do it. Nobody twisted my arm. Nobody put a gun to my head. Nothing. I and Robin decided we're going to take this loan. And then you have to live up to the terms of the loan. Otherwise, there's a retribution. If you don't do it, they will foreclose on you. They will do whatever they need to do to collect. And so luckily these kids in college who are taking out these stupid student loans on colleges that don't help them are learning the hard way what business is really like. And they're saying, it's not fair. I shouldn't have to pay it. Guess what? You agreed to it. So let's listen to some of these kids whine and moan.
Loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought
That's her first mistake. She's been paying $1,500 a month on a loan, a student loan, that was 17%. If her loan is at 17%, there's two things. One, she agreed to it. And two, either mom and dad or she had shitty credit. In any event, nobody said, take this loan or blow your head off. No, it sounded good. You didn't cry when you got the money. You didn't cry when you signed it. But now you're crying going, oh my God, I got to repay it. I don't understand it. I'm just a college kid. Why should I have to be paying $1,500 a month?
I've been paying off for all this time. I'm actually, I owe more than what I started off with.
Yeah, that's called an amortization table, honey. Anybody can explain it to you. In fact, your parents should have showed you. You got a car? You're going to put down X amount of dollars on that car, and then over the course of that 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever years you take, you're going to pay a lot more money for the car than you did for the price of the car. That's how it works. Have any of these people ever been to New York City? Have they not seen the debt clock? Do they understand how the Federal Reserve and why President Trump is all pissed off at Jerome Powell? Hey, can you lower the interest rates? It's like these people have lived in a time warp. They have no clue. And there's so many people on X and TikTok who are like, that sucks, man. Oh, that really sucks.
So, Jeff Bezos, this would be a really cool fucking time to Venmo me, bro. Like, I owe $90,000. And
Jeff Bezos, pay my loan. Maybe mom and dad aren't in the picture. Can you Venmo me some money? I'm $90,000 in the hole. Jeez. I feel for her. She just got smacked upside the head with reality. Reality can be an MFer. You see, the entire time you were at college and having fun and going to tailgates and frat parties and doing what kids do, it never dawned on you that ride was going to come to an abrupt halt. And when that ride came to an abrupt halt, someone's got to knock on the door and say, pay me. You're like, what do you mean? Pay me. You know that loan you took out 4 years ago that said you were going to pay me when you got out of school? Guess what? You're out of school. You need to pay me. See, the problem with these kids is they didn't know that there was a due date. They lived their entire 4 years in college, 5 years, however long they were there, and didn't realize there was a due date. And now all of a sudden, you expect me to pay? Yeah. Yes. It's our money. And that's why I don't have any sympathy for the people on X who are talking about this, because I and you paid for her tears. She owes you money. Now I feel bad for her. I'd give her a little tap on the shoulder and say, it's going to be okay, honey. It's going to be okay. I'll take a check. Pay me. Pay America. Pay it back. You took it. You took it out. Your college obviously didn't provide you with a vocation that's allowing you to make the money. That's not my fault. My part of the obligation and everything that I did was to give you money. Yes, you gave her the money. Now, unless you guys want to send a letter to the government and say, listen, can you take my share off of Honey's loan? Yeah, it's okay. She's upset. No.
I didn't even spend that much on school. Like, any rich person, please tap in. Like, Kourtney Kardashian, like, you probably have 8 houses. I'm never going to be able to buy one because I went to college. I just...
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at anybody's misery. That statement in itself should be on a billboard in Times Square. I'm never going to be able to buy a house because I went to college. See, that's the problem. They went to college. And they had no idea what the job market was going to be like 4 years away. And she probably took some major that has no application and no marketability at this point. That's her problem. Not my problem. Why'd you go yell at the school for not giving you something that you paid for? You know, most of us, if we go buy a shirt or we buy a watch or something, and the product that we buy sucks, we can bring it back. Why is there no ability for people to go, excuse me, I spent $90,000 here. I spent 4 years of my life here, and it wasn't worth poop. You need to pay me back. Why are these kids not going back to the college and saying, hey, your product was crap. Nobody's hiring me. There's no market for the stuff that you taught me. What do? I'm $90,000 in debt. Oh, sorry, Shirley. That's how it goes.
Signed up to be an egg donor. Guess what? Got approved. Who wants my fucking kids? I can't afford them.
Please. Oh my God, she's an egg donor. Who wants my kids? I hope this video gets attached to her profile so everybody knows at this point, hey, this is your future surrogate mother baby egg or whatever. Because, wow. Ooh, sorry. Don't mean to cause you a lot of problems, but damn.
Oh, start a bidding more. Just fucking take them. What do you want? My left arm too? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Somebody just told me that MAGA doesn't have student loans. And I wanted to be like, duh, sweetie, we know. We know that MAGA doesn't have student loans. MAGA doesn't go to school. They don't see.
Oh gosh. When I see my grandson and I see the kids he's around, I'm like, thank God, there is hope for the youth yet. Maybe not this group enlarged that I don't know what's happened to them. It makes absolutely no sense. Can't pay your bills and you're mad at MAGA. How is it MAGA's fault?
Higher education. They don't seek out higher levels of critical thinking skills and analysis and research capability.
I can research an amortization table. I can do that. I can research a loan repayment schedule. How about that? I know what interest rates are. Oh my gosh. No wonder these people can't pay back their their loans. And God bless them that they won't get mortgages because, a couple of years down the road, hey, nobody told me I actually have to pay for this place that I live in.
They don't. Of course they wouldn't have student loans if they're MAGA. Duh, right?
They tell us to stop.
Oh, that's gonna work. Insult the people who paid for you. Insult the people who allowed you to go to college. Insult the hard-working Americans who went to school every day, went to work every day to give money to you to go to college for you to denigrate the hand that feeds you. It is beyond comprehension to me that these people can even get out there and say this kind of stuff. Now, this next guy, I had a real problem with him. I'm going to have to expose this, bro.
Beaten out and rents $2,000 a month. Oh, save for retirement, and yet you can barely save for next week. Go buy a house. Every house is $500,000, brother. I'm not asking for a hand.
No, hey brother, I'm in real estate. I can tell you. I put up on my X profile today after I saw this particular video, and I just went, you know what? Here we are in expensive South Florida, very expensive here in South Florida. So I put up this post just to show, bruh, man, where is it? Okay, let me pull it up here. Wait 1 second. All right, I posted this earlier. And I said, you can buy this townhouse in Broward County for under $150,000. Can we please stop with the BS that people can't buy homes? And if you clicked on this thing, it'll take you to, I think this is realtor.com. Yeah, it's realtor.com. And here it is. Let me shrink the screens. Shrink it so you guys can see it. Here in our backyard is a house. Actually, this is a townhouse. It is a two bedroom, 1.5 bath for 750 square feet, and it's for $124,000. That's down here in South Florida. The estimated monthly payment would be $1,437 a month, which by all stretch of the imagination should be affordable for somebody, two people, maybe a couple, maybe a guy and his roommate, $1,400. And before you say this is like, oh, that's got to be a shit house or something, here are some of the pictures. Let me show you. There's picture one. It's a townhouse. That's the lobby. There's a kitchen. Let me make sure you can see that. There's the kitchen. Look, nice kitchen. Bathroom. Different angle of the bathroom. It's got a double washer and dryer. That's the backyard. 3D. But that's it. So, what do you mean every house is $400,000 or $500,000? I'll tell you what he means. Because he doesn't want to live in this 1.5 townhouse. You see, these kids have, as I said the other day, champagne tastes with beer budgets. Many of you, because I saw some of the comments on my post, many of you said, wait a second, you know where I lived when I was 22 and 23? Do you know where? I'll tell you where I lived when I was 22 and 23. I was a single man training for football, and my roommate was training for football as well. He was going to go play in the CFL. I had designs on playing in the USFL, and our apartment in Hartford, Connecticut was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom junker, and the two of us bounced at night and paid our rent. I don't know what it was back then, but probably whatever it was, we did fine. It wasn't where we planned on living forever, but we lived there. When Robin and I got married, the very first place that we lived was a beach condo in Murrells Inlet. Didn't plan on staying there the rest of our lives, but it's like, this is why they call them starter homes. What's this kid want?
Out, man. We're asking for a freaking fair shot at life. Our parents did not work harder than we work right now.
I'd love to talk to your parents. I would love to talk to your parents after you just said our parents didn't work harder than we do right now. I know my fanfare community here probably went, ha! What? What are you assuming? I tell you what we weren't doing. We weren't making videos sitting in our cars. We didn't have that kind of time. When I got married, I worked 3 jobs. I had a job that I worked at as my full-time job, and then I had a part-time job, and then on the weekends I was bouncing in a nightclub. 'Cause I had her to take care of, and myself to take care of. And we had bills, and we needed food. And so when these idiots sit around and go, our parents didn't work this hard. And my father worked harder than I did.
They were simply just given a better chance. Their wages covered their lives, their bills, their hobbies, their passions. Our wages barely cover our freaking bills for the month, dude. No amount of budgeting can ever fix a system designed to keep us down. We're doing the best that we can, and yet it feels like the outcome has already been decided.
His is. I can say that much. His outcome's already been decided. Completely been decided. If you don't understand how and what to do and how to, no amount of budgeting is ever going to make it work. Well, guess what? That tells you you need to get a second job. That means you might have to get a third job. You might need to work like a Jamaican. And I'm Jamaican, so I can say that. I'm not Jamaican. I'm a Jamaican heritage. My dad was Jamaican. And I've watched people from other countries come up here, and they work all day and night. I've told you the story about our lawn guy. I've told you these stories about how simply watch people go from one lawnmower to getting a van and a big old truck, and they put the money back in. Don't tell me you work harder than your parents. That's embarrassing. That's absolutely embarrassing. It's an insult to people who actually have had to work for a living. I can't feel sorry for people like that, because he kept saying they were given. Our parents were given an opportunity. Our parents were given this and that. Man, I don't know your parents, but I would say if you talk to them, they're probably going to say, I wasn't given anything. I worked my ass off to make you a miserable you-know-what sitting in that car that somebody's paying for, with the camera or the phone that somebody's paying for. We didn't have cell phones. We barely had cars. We had trucks. Makes me ill. Let me know what you guys think, because this kind of stuff just gets to me, and I just don't understand the mentality. Before I take a few comments, one of the things I have to show you, President Trump, thanks Ashley, President Trump has announced that he has chosen Dr. Stephen Moran, current chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, to serve in the just vacated seat on the Federal Reserve Board until January 31, 2026. In the meantime, we will continue to search for a permanent replacement. Stephen has a PhD in economics from Harvard and served with distinction in my first administration. He's been with me from the beginning of the second term, and his expertise in world economics is unparalleled. He will do an outstanding job. Congratulations, Stephen. All right, so the walls are closing in on Jerome Powell. That's not taking Jerome Powell's job. That's taking the job of somebody who resigned. So now Trump's got somebody on the inside, which is going to be awesome. So let me tell you, or not tell you. Let me hear what you guys had to say about that. He says the guy looks very well fed. My dad raised 4 kids as a single parent in his 60s. He worked his ass off. Danny says the boy has never operated 3 Cleaver Brooks boilers in a 130-degree building for 13 hours a day. I haven't either, and I don't even know what that is, and it sounds hard. I got my first job at 14, been working ever since. But let's see here. I have a 3-bed, 2-bath house, 1,500 on 1 acres, owned, no payments. Good for you. All right, so this is what I was looking for. Someone says they disagree. So let's be easy on this person, but let's talk about it. Says, can't agree with you, Barry. I work 2 full-time jobs, yes, even a 3rd part-time job, but it's a lot harder to get a house today than in my parents' days. Okay, so let's address what you just said. All right, so let's assume everything what you said there is true. And I am going to put you on the spot, Bird Dog, because I'm going to say wherever you are in America, whatever zip code you are, if somebody strapped me in a plane and they put a parachute on me and kicked me out the door and said, good luck, and I fell into your zip code, I could buy a house with low money down or no money down within 72 hours. Guaranteed. Want to challenge me? Now notice what I didn't say. I'm going to go with the lyrics of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you might just find you get what you need. You see, when I parachute in and I find that house that, oh, you're like, I would never live there. That's your problem. That is your problem. Robin would tell you the truth. Hey, man, you bought this house. Yeah, it was a little shack. And we bought it, and we fixed it up, and we sold it, and we put tenants in it. It was awesome. It wasn't something on the waterfront with yachts out front. See, I think that's the problem with a lot of people, is that their eyes don't allow them to live where they can afford to live. And I understand there's some bad neighborhoods. I understand that you might find some places dangerous. How do the other people live there? How do the other people who live in those areas if they're so bad? I guarantee you, Bird Dog, you want to get with the mods or something, send me a zip code. Don't put your address in the chat. No, don't do that. Put your zip code in the chat. And if we have time later, because I'm seeing people rustling around here, if we have time, I will show you a house that you can buy. If you're really working 2 full-time jobs and you're not able to buy a house, there's something wrong. All right, so what do we got going on here? It looks like we have a little bit of a gaggle. It looks like Pete Hegseth is coming out. Let me see if he takes any questions or he's just going to walk on by. No, Pete Hegseth is just going into the White House with no questions being taken, so he must be getting ready to go to the ceremony. So he came walking by the gaggle outside the White House where all the reporters were, and he just kept going. So it's getting close. We'll be able to turn on in a second. Facts, Barry. Yeah, there is not a zip code in the country that you can't buy a property that you afford. that you can afford if you're working, especially if you're working 2 jobs. See, I'm the first person you probably talk to, like, tell you, that's your problem. And then you keep looking for something else. Yeah, boom. I bought some real trash duplex, moved in, total changed them. One man bought them all. Bingo. Bingo. Maybe his credit is preventing him from buying a house. Notice I didn't say credit. You don't need credit. You don't need credit. If you're working 2 jobs, and I assume each of those jobs must pay you $300 or $400 a week each minimum, that means you're bringing in $8,000-9,000 a week, and you can't find a house. Okay, oh, here's one. Cheapest in Las Vegas is 450 square feet, 139. It's a house, isn't it? Or is it a townhouse? Anyway, it's someplace to live. Not the nicest of places. Kind of tiny, about the size of my office here, but it's yours. And then, see, that's the problem people don't understand. You get in this house here that's 450 square feet. It's a small-ass house for $139,900. You get in there, and you make your payments for 6 to 12 months, and guess what? You're now going to get qualified to go to the next size house. You might get 1,000 square feet. Barry, do me 56716. All right, we can play along. Let's see here while we're waiting for President Trump to come on. Okay, let me do this again. Hold on. I'm gonna put it in there. Put in buy, and what was that zip code? 56716. Okay. This is fun. I like doing this. It's 56716. All right. So you live in Crookston, Minnesota. Oh well, this one wasn't even a challenge. This one was so easy that you know you got to wonder why you thought you had an issue. All right. This is Crookston, Minnesota. 56716. All right. So let's look at what's available. Boom. A 2-1 with 1,700 square feet for $87,000. Can I stop right there? I mean, that's the first thing that popped up. That's the first thing that popped up. I think we don't need to go any further. It's that easy. I bet you to qualify for this, I bet you the payment's going to be under $1,000. Let's see. Nice looking little house. Yep, there's your payment. Look at that. Estimated payment, $573 a month. Don't play. Don't play with me. I will dig it up and show it to you. There's a house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,700 square feet for $87,000 that you would have to pay $573 a month. You get a 3% FHA loan. A 3% meaning you only have to put 3% down. That's like $1,500. Understand, if you got an FHA loan on this, a 3% loan is about $1,200. Am I right? Let me look at my calculator. Hold on, 87,000 times 0.03 is 2,600. $2,600. That's all you got to come up with. You can get that from a family member or anybody else. It literally is that simple. So I'm not sure why people say they can't find a house. JB, Minnesota. See, 90210. So you want to go Beverly Hillbillies out. I mean Beverly Hillbillies. $300,000 house with only $8,000 down with FFH. Let's see. We bought our house in rural Virginia for $165,320. Woo, 8 acres. So you guys have already done it. Literally, just go to Realtor.com. You don't even have to be a realtor. Put in your zip code and then search for under $200,000. 90210. No, you ain't gonna find under $200,000 in 90210. If you're in 90210 and you can't, maybe you might want to move. Barry 11703. Okay. Okay, let's try that. 11703. Where the hell is that? 11703. Where is that? 11703 is New York, upstate New York, maybe Brentwood, wherever that is. All right. So now, see. Okay, let me just show you something. Here is 11703, and the house is 299. 650, 399, 300. So what you go up in here and do price. Let's see if I bring it down to a maximum of 250. What's that going to give us? Hold on. Done. 250. Boom. Got one for you. 199. This one right here is only $199,000. Is that a house or a lot? Hold on. That's just a lot. Okay, so I went too low with the price. Probably going to have to go back and go to like 275. But anyway, that's what you can do, is just keep going back until you find a price. And remember, all of this stuff is asking prices. 11703. All right, so here we go here. And that's for the land alone. Let me do it this way. And you can do this on your own and just start searching through here. Let's do it this way. Let's make the price maximum 300. And see what we come up. All right, that's better. All right, so by making it a maximum of 300, I've got a 285 co-op. I've got a 290 co-op. Down here, 299, 289. Expensive area, 299 for a 1-bedroom. All right, so he's talking. Let's go.
Numbers that were just released, I mean literally just released, and then we're going over and we're going to do Purple Heart. We have some incredible, brave people that I look forward to, so we're going to do that right after this. Steve, could you say a few words about the various charts?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I called the President because I had some very good news from some new data that we've been able to put together that no one has ever seen before, and I'll just very quickly go through these. So I was telling the President that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. That's a, Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. And I don't know if she's, I'm not
It might not have been an error, that's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Whether that, you may well be right, but even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right.
Okay, so 1.5 million jobs overestimated. We have access to the some data that no one else does on what has happened month by month with median household income. This is based on unpublished Census Bureau data. It will be released sometime in the next 6 months, but we get an advanced look at it. And so I was telling the President, in his first 5 months in office, starting in January through the end of June, the average median household income adjusted for inflation for the average we have access to some data that no one else does on what has happened month by month with median household income. This is based on unpublished Census Bureau data. It will be released sometime in the next 6 months, but we get an advanced look at it. And so I was telling the President, in his first 5 months in office, starting in January through the end of June, the average median household income adjusted for inflation for the average family in America is already up $1,174. That's an
incredible number.
Yeah.
Just came out.
Just came out. So that's a giant gain.
And if I would have said this, nobody would have believed it. There's your number. We're doing well.
So the next one compares, we finally have the 2024 data on what happened with real family income in the United States. And so what I did was I compared the record in Donald Trump's first term with the Joe Biden first term. And you can see that, by the way, these dotted lines here, Mr. President, that's COVID. So If it had not been for COVID, these numbers would have been
amazing.
substantially better. But even taking account President Trump's last year in 2020, we saw a $6,400 real after-inflation gain in income for the average family, and that compares with Joe Biden, which was a measly $551. So, Mr. President, you gain 10 times more income for the average family than Joe Biden is because of your policies.
And that's taken into consideration COVID,
Yep.
which a lot of times you don't have to do that,
Because
but
we were
I'm
up-
very glad you
we were
did.
up over
No, we were
almost
at-
8,000 until
Look
COVID.
at that number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we looked at, which families did the best. And we have data from the Census Bureau that shows by income percentage. So the 25th percentile is the lowest income, 75th percentile is the highest income. And what I find fascinating about this, Mr. President, is every income group did better. The red is President Trump, the blue is President Biden. Every single income group did better under President Trump. But what's really amazing is look what happened under Biden. The lowest income group lost income under Biden. They were poor 4 years after Biden's presidency. No gain virtually whatsoever for the middle class. And the rich was the only group that did better under Biden, which is ironic because Biden keeps saying he was trying to get rid of income inequality. He made income inequality worse, not better. It was President Trump that reduced income inequality.
These numbers just came out, by the way.
And then finally, these are the numbers just I just showed you in percentage terms. Mr. President, these are the numbers in dollar terms. So even the lowest income, 25th percent, gained about $4,000 in income. That's a lot for a lower income family. $6,400 for the middle class and almost $10,000 for the richest. So you can see every income group did better under Trump than Biden by a wide margin. That's the story.
I think when you look at them, they're all something, but this one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great, but this chart is pretty amazing right here. All new numbers. Okay? So we're going to go now over to East Room, and we're going to celebrate some very brave people with the Purple Hearts. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, just to follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Mr. President, is your deadline for Vladimir Putin agreeing to a ceasefire still stand tomorrow? Or is that fluid now that talks are...
Say it, what?
Is your deadline still standing for Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire tomorrow? Or is that fluid now?
It's going to be up to him. We're going to see what he has to say. It's going to be up to him. Very disappointed, yeah.
Do you have to meet with, does Putin have to meet with Zelensky in order and before you and Putin have to meet? Or are you
No.
Are you
So you're willing to, that's actually important because President Putin said this morning he was pretty dismissive of this idea of meeting with President
Who was?
Zelensky. President Putin was.
I don't know. I didn't hear
For you
him.
to meet with him, he doesn't have to agree to meet with Zelensky. Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't. No.
So when do you think that meeting?
They would like to meet with me, and I'll do whatever I can to stop the killing. So last month, they lost 14,000 people killed last month. Every week is 4,000 or 5,000 people. So I don't like long waits. I think it's a shame. And they're mostly soldiers. They're Ukrainian and Russian soldiers, and some people from the cities where, missiles are lobbed in and you'll lose 35, 40 people a night, which is terrible. But no, mostly it's soldiers, and you're talking about, on average, 20,000 a month. 20,000 people are dying a month. Generally young people, soldiers. We're going to, speaking about soldiers, we'll see you over for Purple Hearts.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press.
Thank you, Stephen Moore.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Thank you, Press. Thank you. Keep moving. Thank you. Thank you, Press.
Come on, guys, let's go.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I just want to make sure this is right.
right, so that was wasn't the executive order, but it was something to do with the housing prices, which we were just talking about. So that was pretty good, and those numbers are indisputable. I guess that would be the way to say that. All right, so he's heading over to the East Room, and then when he gets to the East Room, he's going to be doing the Purple Heart presentation, which we will go to. Now, I just want to let you guys know, because I can't do this the entire time, but everybody was like sending me in zip codes and stuff like that, and I just want to show you just very simply what I was doing. All I was doing was going to Realtor.com and just putting in the zip code up here and then doing a restricted search based upon pricing. So right here I put in max. So you can put in any zip code you want right here, and you can put in max pricing, and it'll show you all the properties in the area that are currently for sale, and you can look at doing whatever you want with them. And so I wasn't being facetious. I wasn't trying to talk down to the kid that was in that video, but I just know that when people say I can't afford a house, what they're really saying is I can't afford the house that I want. This zip code that the gentleman gave me is obviously a very expensive zip code. There's only 4 houses below $300,000 on the market right there, but there's still 4 houses on the market that were under $300,000. Obviously, mileage will vary. Of course, 90210, you're not going to find anything, in that range at all. So just you have to know that. But when people say that you can't do it, the deck is stacked against us. Well, how is everybody else doing it? Being in real estate, and I've heard people say that for years, there's no way I could buy a house. And I'm like, well, how is everybody else doing it? They're finding a way to have the down payment, whether it's through an FHA, which is very low, and you say, think about it. For a $200,000 house, let's go with it $300,000. For a $300,000 house, you need 3% down. That's $9,000. That $9,000 can come from your parents. It can come from an uncle. And obviously, if you save up, it can come for you. So it's not that the deck is stacked against you. You just have to get into the game. And what does that mean? You're going to have to figure out a way that you can come up with that $9,000 and understand how you're going to pay the mortgage on the other $291. At $290,000, $300,000, even at 5 or 6%, do the math, look at an amortization table, and talk to a mortgage broker. See, that's one of the things these kids don't do. They don't go talk to the people who can assist them. Don't go looking at a house going, I can't afford that. Well, go talk to a mortgage broker and find out what you can afford, and then go look in that area. You're just starting out. You're just learning to walk. You're not going to have the 4-bedroom, 3-bath house with a swimming pool. It's just not going to happen. And you're going to get yourself disappointed because these kids who grew up in the T-ball era and where everybody gets a trophy, well, in real life, you're just finding out everybody doesn't get a trophy. Sorry. And so don't assume because you can't that I'm working so hard. Obviously not. Obviously not. It just drives me crazy when I hear people say that. Elizabeth said that she bought a $250,000 home as a fixer-upper and turned it to a Dow house for $10,000. Or is that $25,000? Okay, got it. Most banks want 20% down. You're talking to the wrong bank. You are, like I just said, if you're not familiar with FHA, especially under President Trump, if you don't understand what FHA is, put it in the chat so I can actually show you. And if you say, listen, the house I'm looking to buy is a piece of crap and, where am I getting the money? Then you're not understanding the government programs. The 203K, I believe, is the loan number. that you can get the actual money to fix the property up. Are you guys familiar with FHA? Okay, so let me just put this up while we're waiting. He's not going to be too long. He's only got to walk down the hall. So here, let me show you, if you, especially with what Scott Turner's doing in the FHA. All right, so this is in case you or your kids or somebody feels like you have to have a 20% down. I'm about to show you how that's not true. Okay, Donna, I'm not singling you out. I'm just telling you you don't have the information. So let me be the person to show you this, because it may blow some people away. All right, so currently FHA, Federal Housing Administration, loans offer a pathway to home ownership with lower down payment requirements compared to many conventional loans. The specific down payment amount depends primarily on your credit score. So you got to have decent credit, but we're not talking the kind of credit you got to be like Jay Rockefeller. Look at what we're talking about. A 3.5% down payment. This is the minimum required down payment for FHA loans if you have a FICO score of 580 or higher. 580 is basically fog in a mirror. Okay, you got 580. I mean, you have to be really, really, really bad not to have at least a 580 credit score. 10% if you're even lower than that. If your credit score is between 500 and 579, you can still get a loan. FHA loans don't accept credit scores below 500 because that pretty much means you're deadbeat. Okay, let's say you're looking to purchase a home for $400,000, like the kid in the video. If your credit score is 620, you would need a down payment of 3.5% or 14 grand. If your credit score is 560, ooh, that's going to hurt. You're going to need a down payment of 10% or 40,000. So what they should be teaching kids in college is, hey, go ahead and get a credit card and don't go crazy. Spend and pay. Spend and pay. Spend and pay. I told you guys already, that's what I'm showing my grandson who's still in high school. He's not a credit card, but he's got a debit card. Spend and pay. Spend and pay. Put the money back in the bank every month that you spent. It's not a credit card, but you get used to putting the money back. All right, so now at that point, closing costs are going to be another 2 to 6%. And then look, this is what people need to pay attention to. And this is what people don't do the research on. Down payment assistance. Various programs can help borrowers with their down payment, including down payment assistance and using, what's that? Gift funds. When I hear people say, I can't, I keep telling people, don't say you can't, show me how. Well, here's how. You can get a 3.5% down payment loan from the FHA if your credit score is at least 580, which means on a $400,000 house, you now only have to come up with 14 grand. It didn't say it had to be your 14 grand. You can try and divide it up and say, I got this much from mom and this much from grandpa, and I saved up this much, but the bottom line is you have to come up with 14 grand. So let's say today that kid in that car, well, I don't have 14 grand. Well, here's what you need to do over the next year. Save up $14,000 or find an avenue for $14,000 or go to one of these places that does down payment assistance. When you start looking up that term, down payment assistance, go look at Google and look at how many people, how many organizations that you can qualify. There are so many organizations that help people with down payments. There are religious organizations. There are vocational, for plumbers, for air conditioning people. Your own company may have a down payment assistance program. So when you're looking at that number, 14,000, where am I going to come up with that? Well, that just means you got to do more homework. How many people in the chat didn't even know what FHA was? conservative texter girl that said there should be a 15% cap on credit cards. Why? Why should there be a 15% cap on anything? See, when you think about that, having taken out loans as high as 17, 18, 21%, when I first started out in real estate, back in the Carter days and doing things like that, there were guys who would give you loans and they'd say, hey, listen, we want 20%. 20% interest. You know what 20% interest did to me? It said, get your ass up there, get this house ready, and get it sold. You can't carry that kind of debt for a long period of time. The debt service is crippling. It'll take all your profit. Get your ass out there. If I know the terms in advance, if you know the terms in advance, if a company says, hey, conservative Texas gal, we'll give you a credit card, but it's going to be 15% interest. Do you know what you have there as your options? No, thank you. Yes, I'll take it. Those are your two options. Nobody's twisting your arm, so why should there be a cap? Right now, if you type in bad credit cards, high risk credit cards, you're going to see people like, we'll give you a credit card. It's going to cost you 17 or 18% because you haven't proven yourself and you got crappy credit. But you know what? If you take this credit card, or you do like, what do you call it, the hypothecation, secured credit card, you give the bank $400 or $500. The bank gives you a card, and you pay that card back and forth over a year. Guess what's going to happen? Your credit score is going to go up. So no, that's not true. There shouldn't be a cap. The cap is on you. How? Because you're the one who's going to have to pay it. So you either accept it or you don't. FHA is for first-time home buyers only, I thought. Nope. There's other programs out there for return home buyers as well. But that kid I was talking about, he was a first-time home buyer. But they have other programs as well. Let's see here. Smarter to do a secure credit card. Yep, that's what I just said. Exactly. In 1979, we what's it say? We put our down payment in a CD, and it grew till Reagan got in, and rates went down to 9%. Boom. Boom. Why am I saying boom? Well, I just showed you that he just put somebody in to be on the Federal Reserve. President Trump has been saying over and over and over again, hey, listen, we need to get interest rates down. We know in September they're probably going to cut rates. We know in March or May of next year there's going to be a new Federal Reserve chairman. So someone who's looking to buy a house, perhaps what you should be doing right now is forecasting. All right, so let's go ahead and look in on the White House because they're about to have this program. And I am not going to break in. I'm not going to say a word while this is going on because it's for Purple Heart veterans. And I'll let the comments roll on the screen. Let me just make sure there's no music being played. All right, so there's no music being played, so I'm just going to let this ride because it is a kind of a solemn event with all these people getting Purple Hearts. My dad having been in the military, my brother having been in the military, probably a lot of your relatives, you understand the what this event means. See, a lot of liberals don't care. They don't understand this. This is for people who put their lives in danger for us. And, these people deserve our attention, our compassion, and I hope as they're giving out these awards that they say, where did they serve? Well, this guy served here, this woman served here, here's what they did. It may be a while. From what I understand, there are going to be 100 Purple Heart recipients. So if they're going to individually give each person their Purple Heart, then this could go on for quite some time. I just saw Pete Hegseth step in. And so what I'm going to do is I got a couple different feeds working. As soon as this thing gets in, we're going to go ahead and cut to it. But right now they're just waiting for President Trump. Save for that down payment. Opportunity will knock soon. Exactly. My dad has a Purple Heart. Oh, congratulations. Thanks for the service. Good luck buying in Colorado or Nebraska. Well, maybe that's not where you need to be. There's a lot of people who come here to South Florida and go, no, I can't deal with this. No, okay, then you go up to Orlando or Melbourne or someplace else, and you find where you can put your stake in the ground. Working parents, often parents out of guilt, causing them to overcompensate. They're not doing their kids any favor. In fact, these kids don't know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Paul, I appreciate you showing it. Yeah, this is going to be pretty nice. Like I said, from what I understood from the description, there's going to be 100 Purple Heart recommendations or awards. So, I mean, think about it. If each one only lasted 1 minute, yeah, it's 100 minutes. Could be an hour and a half. So, we'll be here for a while. Andrew, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate all service members who fought for freedom. If anybody is in here who is in the military, what is the criteria for obtaining a Purple Heart? Maybe they'll say that, but I think that's important for people to know. How do you qualify to receive a Purple Heart? How bad is homeowners insurance in Florida? It's all relative. When you see people complaining, it's all relative. If you lived in a $15 million house and your insurance was, a couple $100,000 a year, well, you can probably afford it because you're living in a $15 million house. But for the most part, it's not nearly as bad as people make it out to be because, again, they're getting shocked because they're not prepared for it. I buy houses that we end up we're looking at one right now. And Ashley, when she was down here last week, we went to go look at it. And when we close on it, I have to have an insurance binder. And it's even more expensive because the house is going to be, it's going to be inhabited, but then it'll end up being vacant. But I already build that in. You already know what your numbers are before you buy. And so, again, that's why I always say you make your money when you buy property. Okay, your Purple Heart is you just have to be wounded. So you don't have to be somebody who passed on. Great. Absolutely great. So it's wounded in action. My father lost an eye in World War II, and he got a Purple Heart for bravery. Wow. Injured in combat. Yeah, I wasn't going to guess because I have too much respect for the people in the military, so I wouldn't even begin to guess that. Wherever you buy, don't buy an HOA. I live in an HOA. I mean, it depends on the HOA. Let's see here. Wounded during combat equal Purple Heart. Okay. All right, so I guess he's about to walk in. It looks like the room is pretty full. I can't imagine. Well, then again, we know President Trump. He may indeed do 100 different people. That would be very, very compelling. Let's see here. During combat, Stephen X. When they buy 100 billion, veteran. Yeah, that's another one. Veterans pay 0% down. Exactly. This could be very heart-wrenching as we see this stuff. No, don't stop talking finance. We need more. We want more. It's a win time. Yeah, I keep telling people it's money time right now. I know those dates off the top of my head. He said he's going to lower interest rates in September. He knows that Jerome Powell is not going to be here in May or whatever it is. So those two dates are burned in my mind. Like, okay, things are about to happen. And this isn't this one. I mean, I've got more depending on today. I may end up going another show tonight, but I got a whole bunch more news for you. But let's take a look in here. That way, I can choose which feed has the better information.
and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Please. Nice crowd. I even hear a young, beautiful voice in the background, and that's good. That makes us all feel young. I want to thank everybody for being here on the 200th day in office. This is 200 days already. Time flies. But we have a country that's the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. A year ago, it was in a lot of trouble. It's the hottest country, and a lot of the people in this room made it that way. Perhaps the most successful and consequential first 200 days, they say, of an administration in history. So let's hope they keep saying it. There they are right there. I hope they keep saying it. But even more importantly, this is also National Purple Heart Day, and we're here to honor and celebrate the unyielding patriotism and grit and devotion to America's Purple Heart veterans is great emotion and great love. The Purple Heart dates back to August 7th, 1782. That's a long time, when General George Washington awarded a heart-shaped purple.
Do me a favor and let me know if the volume is okay.
And service inbound.
I just want to make sure you guys can hear and that there's no issue with that.
Heart recipients and their families, and just as General Washington did 243 years ago, today we give our everlasting thanks to you and your unbelievable families. We want to thank you very much for being here. It's my great honor. We're also joined by American patriots who love our military and our veterans, including Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. You're doing a great job, Pete. Thank you. We're working hard together. Secretary of Veterans Affairs with 92% approval rating, I hear. That's a record. Doug Collins. Thank you very much, Doug. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She's got a lot of interesting things happening in the last 2 months. A lot of interest. Keep it coming, Tulsi. Keep it coming. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, my friend, who I knew a long time ago. He got rid of ISIS in record time. They said it was going to take 4 to 5 years. He did it in 4 weeks. That's when I said, if I get into this again, I'm going to make him the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and that's what happened. Great job, and he did an incredible job in Iran. I want to thank you very much. Great job, General. Deputy Secretary of Energy and Purple Heart recipient, James Danley. James, thank you very much, James. Great job. And we have a Medal of Honor recipient, Captain Paris Davis. Thank you. Where are you? Where might he be? Oh, look at you. You're better looking than I am, I'll tell you that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're also joined by the Marine Corps veteran who co-managed my 2024 campaign, a fantastic talent in many ways after he was wounded in battle for our country in Operation Desert Storm, Chris LaCivetta. So where is Chris? Where is Chris? Chris, stand up, Chris. With your beautiful daughter, Victoria. Thank you very much for being with your father. It's very nice. Every Purple Heart tells a story of courage, sacrifice, and purpose. It speaks of a price paid for the soldier beside you, the country behind you, and the generations of Americans yet to come. And we have some great generations to follow. It's going to happen. Those who wear this medal ran into bullets, faced ferocious bombs, and shed their blood on the field of battle. We will never forget what they did. We will always use them as an example of bravery and courage and strength. And we will also always think, when we look at them, of our great American flag. We want our great American flag to be strong, and it's stronger than ever. Since day one, my administration has used every power we have to fight for those who have fought for America. In 6 months, we have reduced the backlog of veterans' waitings, and that waiting list was very long, Doug, wasn't it, huh? For the benefits, and it's 37%. So it's just, is that all you did, Doug? 37? I don't know, huh? That's incredible, actually. You're getting tremendous marks, and we appreciate it very much. We processed more than 2 million disability benefit claims this fiscal year, on track for the most ever. In fact, not even close. We're slashing wait times at the VA medical centers, and we're bringing back VA choice and VA accountability. As you know, we had it, and then the previous administration, let's go with the Biden administration, they decided to get rid of it. And, you know, choice is where if you wait in line for an extended period, or you're not going to see a doctor for a while, you have the right to go out and get a doctor, and we'll pay for it, and you get yourself all fixed up real fast. You don't have to wait 6 weeks, 8 weeks, months like they were doing. And VA accountability, I'm very proud of those. We got them passed. Actually, Doug, you were a member of Congress when we did. You helped us a lot. But we got them passed in the legislature, so they're with us forever. And yet Biden found a way to not use them. But VA accountability, that's when we have bad people in the Veterans Association that were taking advantage of people, hurting people, and they weren't in prime time. In prime time, they wouldn't have touched them, but they weren't quite in prime time, and they were doing bad things. They were sadists, they were thieves, and some bad people. We had 9,000 of them. We fired every one of them, and it was a great thing. And then he put some of those people back. I don't know why they did that, but they did it. But we got them out again, I think, Doug, right? So it's good. So we had VA choice, VA accountability, something we're very proud of. I'm also working to keep my promise to end veterans' homelessness in America. In May, I signed an executive order to open the National Center for Warrior Independence in Los Angeles, California, which will house up to 6,000 homeless vets. It's going to be beautiful. And just last week, I signed the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act, a big deal to help ensure no veteran is kicked out of their home for a late payment. If you're a little bit late, don't worry about it. And frankly, if you're a lot late, you don't have to worry about it either. You just get it in when you can. Get it in when you can. And America's veterans have done their duty for us, and under the Trump administration, we are doing our duty for you, okay? That's the way it's supposed to be. One of our brave soldiers with us today is Army Veteran Specialist Kevin Jensen. In 2008, Specialist Jensen was a gunner in a Humvee racing to support a platoon ambushed by the Taliban in Afghanistan. His vehicle was hit by a roadside bomb, flew 10 feet. He flew 10 feet up into the air and exploded in flames. The whole place was on flames, including, unfortunately, Kevin. But he suffered deep third-degree burns, and all over his body he was in trouble, big trouble. Despite the agony, he selflessly ran to the aid of his platoon leader, who was engulfed, or just absolutely, everyone thought he was gone. He was engulfed in fire. "Sir, I've got you. I've got you, sir," Kevin shouted and pulled his friend to safety. Specialist Jensen earned the Purple Heart, and he's here today with the platoon leader whose life he saved, and our newly sworn-in VA Undersecretary for Medical Affairs, Captain Sam Brown. Kevin and Sam, please stand, and I know Sam very well. Sam is great. What a combination. He's okay, right? Great, Sam. Look good. Thank you very much. You did a great thing, because I got to know him and his really beautiful wife. You know, you're not allowed to say beautiful anymore. It's political suicide, they say. But I'll say it anyway. And the most beautiful family you've ever seen. And I just want to thank you for having done, and you for your great bravery. It's really great. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you. Also with us is 24-year Army veteran Brian Willett. In 2010, Staff Sergeant Willett was conducting a resupply mission in Afghanistan when his vehicle was struck by a roadside bomb. You know who did the roadside bomb, right? Soleimani. Where is he? Where is he? Where is Soleimani? He did. He was the father of the roadside bomb. They say 92% of the people who got either killed or badly hurt, it was Soleimani. He was the one that did it more than anybody else by far. Leaving this person very seriously injured 7 months later, Brian's teenage son, Private Kevin Willett, who was also deployed to Afghanistan, was standing guard when insurgent forces attacked with heavy fire. The grenade knocked him out and knocked him right to the ground. He was in big trouble, but Kevin rose to his feet and successfully repulsed the attack on his camp, earning both the Purple Heart and Bronze Star for valor. And I'd like to ask Brian and Kevin to please stand wherever you may be. Hi, how are you? How are you? Good job. Good job. Two great people. I would say these are different types, right? These are different types, right? But same blood. That's all we care. It's very good. You both look great. Thank you both very much. Appreciate it. We're also joined by Marine Corps veteran Staff Sergeant Thomas Mateo, wounded 6 times during 2 tours in Vietnam. At the end of his first tour, shrapnel sliced open his abdomen and he was left bleeding, and they thought he was gone. He was on the jungle floor for a long period of time, but he recovered and chose to go back and fight. Thomas later continued to protect our citizens as police chief of Hialeah Gardens and Inverness. That's 2 good places. We love those places. We love Florida. Every time I ran there, I won, so I got to love it, right? Set records. We have the all-time record, Thomas. And he was one of the very rare 6-time recipients of the Purple Heart. Boy, you got hit. Where's Thomas? 6 times. You got to be kidding. That's pretty tough stuff. And look at you. You look fantastic. So did it have any negative impact on you, would you say, now that you're recovered, fully recovered, would you say? Do you get any extra aches and pains or anything? That's it. That's called an ache and a pain. That's right. I know. I have the whole list. It's amazing, and you look great. Thank you very much. That's some list. Thank you. It's amazing, amazing. Last year, after an assassin tried to take my life in Butler, Pennsylvania, Thomas generously mailed me one of his Purple Hearts. Many of the other veterans showed me the same unbelievable gesture of kindness, including 3-time Purple Heart recipient John Ford and Gerald Enter Jr., who also came along with us and did us a great, great favor. Gerald, John, and Thomas, I want to thank you very much. What a great honor to get those Purple Hearts. I guess in a certain way it wasn't that easy for me either when you think of it, but you went through a lot more than I did, and I appreciate it all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Where are you? Stand up, please. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Great. That was someday. That was someday we had together, though, huh? That was someday we had together. Thank you both very much. Thank you all. From the very beginning, our nation's fate has depended on heroes like those in the room who placed their bodies between the enemy fire and really that fire and the American freedom that we all love so much. Because of their sacrifice today, our flag is still waving proudly, and our freedom is still safe and secure, and our future is looking brighter and greater than ever. Our country is doing really well. We're very proud of our country. We had that mission. I watched those B-2 bombers with those pilots. We had them in the Oval Office celebrating their incredible bravery and talent. pure talent. Every single bomb hit its mark perfectly. And then we had Tomahawks coming in, 30 of them coming in from submarines that were 300 miles away. They all hit their mark, too. Look at this smile on you. You think that's your boy. Hey, look at his smile. But it's pretty good, right? Pretty good. We had them and we celebrated all together. We actually had 52 tankers. Can you imagine? We had a lot of the people over to the White House, to the gardens, and it was an incredible day. It was a day of celebration. They've been looking to do that for 22 years. One of the pilots came up and said to me, we've been waiting for 22 years, my predecessors, because he was a young guy, but he said, we've been practicing this 3 times a year for 22 years. Who knew that, Pete? And I said, you mean you knew exactly what to do? He said, every single year, 3 times a year, we'd practice for that specific event. And you were the one that had the guts to do it, send us on our way. And I said, were you happy or unhappy about the fact that I said, he said, we couldn't get into the planes fast enough, right? And he said, well, you guys are different, but they're really talented people and special. We've had some incredible success. But I want to give a very special thanks to all of the Purple Heart recipients that are with us today and all over the country and all over the world, frankly. And I'll now sign the proclamation officially declaring this as National Purple Heart Day. Very special day. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. I know who I'm giving this gun to. That guy right there. 6 times. And that is not done by an auto pen.
Can't stand the media. I can't stand them. I mean, you're at a ceremony where he's recognizing Purple Hearts, and crazy, absolutely crazy. I guess that's our media. That's who they are at this point. Man, it just drives me nuts. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read Super Chats if there's anything in here, and then I'm going to get off because I'm going to do a second show tonight because I thought that was going to last longer, and the fact that it didn't last longer will give me the opportunity to do a second show, complete with a Rumble, jump over, and everything. All right, so I still have a lot of content to get to, so it's good. It's good that we can do this. I can go eat dinner. I can walk the dogs, do what I need to do, and we can get back in here. All right, so let's look at the Super Chats. Oh, yeah, there are a couple here, so let me read these to you. Tommy, has Trump separated U.S. e-funds from world e-funds? I don't know. Job for 9. Does move make the standard a greater possibility? Not understanding you there. Does move? Not sure. Brian, never mind. I can invest in crypto, being on disability, and have a great person to do my taxes. It's not earned income. I asked Grok. Boom. Did I start at the top? Yeah, I started at the top. All right. Robert Galliant, I just invested. Fantastic show. You go. Benedetta Salerno, we boarded the Trump train. Now seems like our president loves Bitcoin. He hasn't steered us wrong yet. I got to at least try. That's it. And try maybe just learning and then saying, you know what, it's still not for me. Then that's fine. But at least try. Just try. Barry, job for 9. Did I skip anybody? No. I took your investing spirit and research and told you that I was investing more in silver, and so happy to hear you're buying more silver. I found it used everywhere and in everything. So, just to let you know about what you just said, you're buying more silver because I said I'm buying more silver. I'm going to have Kevin Demerit from Lear Capital on, I think, one day next week. And what I do is when I look to buy some gold and silver, I ask him, what should we do? More here, more there, what percentage? And I'll let him tell you in terms of, what he's been advising his clients to do as we go forward. Dave Rutan, they're so excited about the money they're getting, they don't read the small print. He's talking about these kids who get these student loans and money? Yes, and they don't realize, but it's not even small print. They tell you straight up. You get the promissory note before you sign the check. I mean, the closing documents. Stephen Bankowski, be careful with crypto. I've been into it for 7 years. I bought a few Bitcoin when it dropped. Got lucky, but I lost thousands on other coins. Yep, do your homework. Captain KV, kids these days don't know or understand that life isn't easy. You must struggle and sacrifice for years to achieve your financial goals. Exactly. Steve, instead of paying rent, pay a mortgage and sell it or rent it out later. You guys understand. That's the whole idea. Yeah, it might be a crappy place at first, but it's yours, and you're building up credibility, if not equity. And so at that point, you can sell it and move. Just another knucklehead. Realtor, Las Vegas condo, townhouse, 184, 22, 1,153 square feet, 22, 187. Many others, plenty of them out there. And see with this 22, that's 184. If you're a single guy or gal and you go ahead and get a mortgage for this and 3% down, you can just do the math on that, and then you bring a roommate to pay half the. That's what you got to do. Beach Life, Barry, please do 90210. You ain't gonna trick me on that one. We know we're 90210. That's Beverly Hills. Angelina Willimon, how can we find someone who don't necessarily look at scores? My husband's 680. Okay. Interest rate at 9. That's still high, and help is appreciated. So if your husband's score is 680 and his interest rate is at 9, then you're probably getting too high of a rate. So you may want to wait, until September. We know for a fact it's going to drop in September. see what it drops to, then look and just shop around, maybe get a different broker. But I would wait. Me personally, I'm looking at buying a house right now, but I'm using private money. If I was buying bank or conventional financing, I would definitely wait 30 days. I mean, it's August 7th right now. Hold off, see what happens in the next 30 days. See how much they cut it. And then also you got to give the banks time to drop it as well. Toby, thanks to my husband's persistence, we bought our house with owner finance. See, I wasn't even going to go there, and able to pay off before retiring. Mr. B, I started out in a very small place with a Murphy bed and a kitchen full of roaches, and I don't mean weed. But it was yours. It was all yours, I bet. Brian Newland, I want closure for 7/3/1988. What was that? July 3rd. I have to look that up. See, now you're going to make me do homework. White Wolf, thank you to all the Purple Heart recipients. Thank you to Trump for making this a nationally recognized day. Absolutely. And President Trump has a 24-karat pure golden heart. Yes, he loves veterans. And by the way, I think tonight, let's see here. I think tonight, if I'm not mistaken, for some of you guys, I've been talking about it. Hold on. I want to check something before I go into the after party. Yes. Okay. I've been telling you guys this was coming. Many of you probably knew. Many of you are probably like, I don't care. But in any event, it's here. Tonight, preseason, Indianapolis against Baltimore at 7 p.m., Cincinnati against Philadelphia, Las Vegas versus Seattle at 10 o'clock. 3 games tonight, 3 games on Friday, a whole bunch of games on Saturday, and then our team down here, Miami, plays Chicago on Sunday. It's football season. And I'm pretty sure, I didn't check, I should have probably checked to see what's the deal with college football, see if they've got any games scheduled. Let me see. First college game is August 23rd. All right, so it's football season. Football season. You're going to see the eyeballs change here. Look at the stadiums tonight. Look at the stadiums Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know a lot of people don't like the NFL. That's okay. You didn't come back. That's all right. But as I've been telling you, this time of year is where things are going to shift. We know right now that the House and the Senate aren't in session. There's not a whole lot of news other than President Trump creating the news and the Democrats acting a fool. But in any event, people are going to begin living their lives. Think I'm wrong? Turn the sound off, don't listen to the games, and just flick on a couple of these games tonight. Just look at the stands. It's a preseason game, and I bet you're going to see lots and lots of people in the stands. Even though it's preseason, we're going to see a lot of people out because this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for this release, and now that people are more prosperous and doing things, you're gonna see that. I can't wait. First college game, nope, 23rd. 23rd is the first college game. I'm so ready. I wore my Chief shirt last week. Go Cowboys. All right. So we got some football fans up in here. Go Bears and Notre Dame. Yes. Go Raiders. All right. Oh, we're going to have some fun over the next couple months. No, I'm not going anywhere. You're not going to lose me, but I love the fact that there's some football fans in here and we can talk about some things as well. I'm not getting away from politics at all. But let's talk some football. For those, I can't show the games, obviously. NFL would cut us out real quick. But we can talk. We can talk the games. Oh, Steelers, Patriots. All right, Bird. You see what you're seeing right now, just by talking about the game, and you guys can see in the chat yourself, all the people who are talking about their team. That's the commonality I was talking about. Because there's going to be a lot of, I wouldn't say lefties because they're crazy, but a lot of independents and Democrats who are going to be Patriot fans and Buckeyes and Vols and Detroit Lions and ladies too. Tina, Detroit Lions fan. Don't worry about me leaving. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do when the season starts and these people are like, hey, Barry, love you, but we got to go watch some football. Oh, Josh, I feel for you, bro. I feel for you. Browns? Oh, I'm loving this. Bengals. Oh, Laura, she's a Bengals fan. Go Niners. Oh, you guys, you don't even know. Oh, we got some fun coming. You know what? We'll start doing some pools and stuff. And see, I didn't know there was this many football fans in the house. There's this many football fans in the house. Maybe we'll start doing weekly pools. I have an app with one of my companies that I can actually do a pool each week, and we can do some things. All right. Oh, Robert about to throw some of his money back. Yeah, baby, I'm about to be fan dueling any day. I'm loving it. Oh my goodness, we got so many sports fans here. Gary says he's a cheesehead. For the rest of you who don't know, that's Packers. Lions versus sorry Falcons tomorrow. Guys, this is fantastic. We're gonna have some fun. Let's have some fun with football coming up. Y'all made my day. I can't wait till Notre Dame starts. That's my real team. I mean, that's my ride or die. I'm a Dolphins fan, and they suck. But anyway, we'll do it. All right, everybody, you let me go here on a happy note here. Football season tonight, but I will be back at 7:30, 2 hours, and I'll be back. All right, talk to you guys soon.